Tametria?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, topping our news this morning, police are still investigating a shooting that left one man dead in central Montgomery. It happened yesterday afternoon at the 1200 block of Bryan Street near East 6th Street. WSFA 12 News reporter Bethany Wells has more on this developing story.
Police got the call just after 2 o'clock this afternoon that someone had been shot. A white man in his early 20s was pronounced dead on the scene before 2:30. Police are still asking questions and say they're getting close to figuring out exactly what happened.
We do have a person of interest in custody at this time, and we will update as we have further information.
At this point, police are working the case as a death investigation, not saying whether any foul play was involved. Bethany Wales, WSFA 12 News.
And again, this is an ongoing investigation. WSFA 12 News will continue to update this developing story as more details become available to us. Well, turning now to Decision 2012, the big question in the race for the White House is the Republican field and who will pose the biggest threat. In this morning's Meet the Press, there's talk of New Jersey Governor Chris Christie throwing his hat in the ring for the Republican presidential nomination, hoping to reshape the field. Reports say Governor Christie has not yet decided whether to run or not, but he is seriously considering it. His Republican counterparts say time is running out and he needs to make a decision quickly.
He's an extraordinary communicator. He's a great governor. Enormous reforms and everything from the pension system to budget reform in a blue state. I just asked him to be vice chairman of the Republican Governors Association because he's such a terrific leader. I just think whoever's going to get in needs to do it immediately.
Governor Christie has 90 days until the Iowa caucus. His advisors are working to determine whether they could move fast enough to set up effective political operations there and assessing the financial and logistical challenges of starting a late race for the White House. Well, the Crappie Masters crowns its national champions in Millbrook. Brothers Bill and Roger Gant took the 2011 title. They spent this weekend fishing the Alabama River, and they say it wasn't easy as the waterway posed some challenges.
During this tournament in particular, it's not as good as it's capable of being because fish right now are kind of in transition between hot weather and cold weather. And the fish they're a little tough this time. Plus, we've had a front to come through last night and right in the middle of the tournament. So it's been, and falling water. We've had that too. So it's been a few things against it. But all in all, this is one of the better places in the country to fish.
The grand prize, 2 Nitro Z7 boats worth about $58,000. Overall, the 2011 Crappie Masters National Championship Tournament awarded more than $173,000 in cash and prizes. Well, Montgomery's half marathon wrapped up on a good note yesterday, and many are already planning to run again next year. Thousands of runners took to the streets of the capital city this weekend with one goal: to cross that finish line. And one man says this race was only the beginning of his running career.
I've been running a lot lately and lost some weight, feel better, so half my goal's there anyway.
Montgomery Mayor Todd Strange says more than 2,000 people participated in this year's event. Well, coming up, is fall really here? Meteorologist Jeff Jumper will have this morning's forecast. Plus, those annoying bank card fees seems to be piling up for everyone. We'll tell you what banks are charging and who's getting blamed for the fees. And he's man's best friend. Many of you wanted to take those dogs home and be a part of your family. That story and more as Today in Alabama Sunday Special Edition continues after this. Well, things are looking clear on Interstate 85 and the sun is shining, but seems like those summer temperatures may be over with. Jeff Jumper is here in the live Doppler radar system here, and Jeff, it feels like fall.
Yeah, it certainly does out there. You know what? It came in on Friday just in time for the weekend, and the past couple of mornings, a little bit of a shiver from time to time if you're heading out, especially as that sun is just getting to rise in the morning hours. That's typically when our coldest weather happens. We were in the middle 40s this morning, and it looks like we'll do it all over again overnight tonight. But we have a nice full weekend day to get through, and we'll start you out with another look at our Alpha Sky Vision camera. This one in Selma now showing 57 degrees, a northwest wind about 5 miles per hour, and we will continue to allow temperatures to rise. It was 47 for the low in Selma. Here's where we head today. By about 10 o'clock, we're in the low 60s. As we head toward noon, we get into the 70s across the board from Alex City to Evergreen. Most locations right around 70 degrees. Then by 4 o'clock, I think middle 70s are a good spot for the high temperatures as the sun beats down and kind of offsets that high pressure that brought in some of that colder air. Then by 8 o'clock, we're back to near 60 degrees, and overnight tonight, heading back into the 40s. We'll talk in detail about the rest of the week, including whether or not there's any rain in the forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Tametria?
Thanks, Jeff. Well, many banking customers are up in arms over a new debit card fee. The banks say Congress is to blame for these tough new banking laws that make the new fees necessary. NBC's Brian Moore has details.
Bank of America is getting an earful from Americans who clearly don't like the idea of a new debit card fee.
It angers me. I'm unhappy about it.
Beginning next year, the troubled banking giant wants to charge customers $5 a month, $60 a year to use their debit cards for purchases.
That's ridiculous on a lot of levels.
But not for Bank of America, which, like all banks, is looking to regain an estimated $15 billion a year lost after Congress passed last year's banking reform law.
We don't like doing this. It's the last thing we wanted to do, and unfortunately we were forced to do it by government intervention.
Well, folks, vote with your feet. If you think the debit card fee that Bank of America is going to impose is unreasonable, go shopping. Find yourself another place that's going to treat you a lot better.
We have the right to also to walk, and I think people need to do that.
You can run, but you may not be able to hide from an annual debit card fee, which may soon be coming to a bank near you. Several other big banks are already considering or adopting similar policies. Brian Moore, NBC News, Washington.
Visit WSFA.com for more information on bank card fees or to see if your bank is adding them. Well, improving performance in school was the focus of an event hosted by the Montgomery Public Schools. Patterson Academy, Robert E. Lee, and Jefferson Davis High Schools are among those listed on the school improvement list. The supplemental program is geared towards offering students tutoring services in order to improve performance, along with other educational help. If you or your child is interested in participating, the application process begins Monday and goes through October 14th. And many of you were out looking for man's best friend today on the campus of Auburn Montgomery. People from all over showed up to find a furry friend in the school's adopt-a-thon. Over 200 dogs were out at yesterday's event. Last year, more than 75% of the dogs were adopted. Will the temperatures continue to fall, or is this just a cold snap? Meteorologist Jeff Jumper will have that answer in his full forecast right after this.
Tametria, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Look as hard as you can. Can you see any rain on there?
None whatsoever.
Yeah, this is perfect fall weather. I think people enjoying it. Some areas could use the rain, but we'll take this nice dry stretch while it lasts.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. And the Auburn Tigers pull a stunner, closing out on the South Carolina Gamecocks, and the Tide rolls on, beating the Florida Gators. More on all the college football action next in sports. Thanks, Jeff. Your final check of weather is straight ahead after this. Thanks for joining us. We will see you right back here at 5. Have a good day.